注意です。投稿されています基本説明書と一緒にご覧ください。
Now let's see how to set up the machine. Open the two clasps on the casing. To open the top cover, lift the cover up towards you. Next, remove the foam and accessories. Inside the cover is the connecting plate and the young feeder post. Press the spring to remove the connecting plate. Next, loosen the nut and remove the carriage fixing plate. Loosen the nut on the carriage to release the plate. Then remove the accessory box from the needle bed. The accessory box contains various small parts. The accessory box lid can be secured to the screw on the right. You can place the accessories you need on it. Now let me introduce the accessory box and some of the small parts inside. These two are the table clamps to secure the knitting machine. This is the needle pusher. It's used to push the knitting needles. The row counter counts the number of knitted rows. These are the transfer tools. There are 3 types. They can be used for pattern knitting. This is the repair tool used to convert the wrong side to the right side. The weight holds the knitted fabric. The cleaning brush cleans the knitting needles. There are 3 spare knitting needles. A sewing needle, crochet hook, and cast on yarn. for casting on or separating waste yarn. The punch card holder makes the numbers easier to read. The gauge ruler measures needle pitch. Lubricating oil cleans the cams and guide rails. The yarn guide holds the yarn. The left and right magic cams are for knitting independent patterns. Punch card connector. The yarn coil separates the yarn from feeders 1 and 2. The center cam is placed at the start and end knitting positions. Lastly, the nameplate. That's all the accessories in the box. Next, we'll install the machine. Measure the thickness of your table. And then secure the table clamps. If the needle bed is slightly raised, gently lift the machine to install it. After installation, ensure the machine is firmly secured to the table. Do this before knitting. Let's go over these details first. This is the knitting needle, latch shaft and butt. Next, let's go over the needle bed. The knitting needles can move up and down on the needle bed. The letters ABCD are marked on both sides of the needle bed. The needle's position determines whether it knits. Needles in position and won't knit, even if the carriage moves. Needles in position, they can knit plain stitch or patterns. Position C is for plain stitch knitting. Move the needles to position B when the Russell lever is in position A. The needles do not knit. When the Russell lever is in position A, the needles knit and return to position B. Next, we'll show you how to install the tension assembly. Let's install the tension assembly. Place the bent part of the yarn mass downwards. There are mounting holes for the mast on both sides. You can install it on either side. The tension assembly has a mounting hole underneath. Insert the tension assembly and yarn guide onto the mast. The yarn guide has a specific orientation. Make sure the spring faces upwards. Snap the yarn guide in place and slide it to the raised position. The tension assembly is now installed. Next, install the row counter. First, lift the carriage handle. To lower the handle, move it from front to back. The row counter can be installed on either side. To install it, move from front to back to remove it. Push from back to front. There are 2 fixing screws on each side. You can place it wherever you like. Next, I'll show you how to use the row counter. This is the roll counter lever. To count rows, lift the lever up vertically. When you move the carriage, the roll counter lever will move. When the carriage is moved, the roll counter automatically counts. To adjust the roll count, use these 3 buttons. To stop counting, place the roll counter lever horizontally. Next, let's see how to use the cam levers. The cam levers are used to select the needle type. At position 0, the cam lever is used for casting on plain knit and tuck stitch. For tuck stitch, set the lever to T. Use the SJ position for Fairusdale or double jacquard. For mock fair is now, set the cam lever to L. F stands for jacquard knitting. For jacquard knitting, set the cam lever to F. Next, let's introduce the stitch dial. The stitch dial adjusts the fabric's tightness. Align the stitch density number with the center. Higher numbers mean larger needles and looser fabric. So adjust the settings based on your yarn. Next, let's introduce the side cam levers. The side cam levers control the B position needles. With the side levers in triangle, if the punch card is off, it produces a plain stitch, and normally, the side cam lever is in the triangle position. When the side cam lever is in the circle position, it won't knit when the cam lever is in the SJ position. When the cam lever is in the 0, L or F position, it knits a plain stitch. When the cam lever is in the T position, the yarn just hangs on the needles without knitting. Next, we have the holding cam lever. It controls the needles in the D position. When the holding cam lever is in the I position, needles in the D position do not knit. When the holding cam lever is in the I position, it needs a plain stitch. Then the needles return to the B position. Next, let's introduce the release lever. During the knitting process, if the carriage is stuck, use the release lever. To use the release lever, just to push the button in the direction of the arrow. The carriage will be released. Once it's released, you can move the carriage freely. When pressing down on the connecting plate, you should hear a click. Next, let's go over the connecting plate. First, let's introduce the tuck lever on the connecting plate. The marking above indicates plain knit. For knitting other than tuck stitch, keep the tuck lever up. For tuck stitch, set the tuck lever down. Next, we install the connecting plate. Loosen the connecting rod nut and insert the connecting plate. Tighten the connecting rod nut. Slide the carriage to check the installation. There's a yarn cutter on the plate. To cut the yarn, hold it with both hands and press firmly into the yarn cutter. Next, let's thread the yarn. First, we'll feed the yarn through the yarn guide. Second, pass it through the tension spring. Make sure the yarn is inside the yarn guide plate within the tension spring. Third, thread it through this hole on the yarn guide. Fourth, thread it through the hole in the tension spring. This is the final step. Now secure the yarn on the yarn guide fixing plate. Next, let's look at the tension spring. There's a numbered dial on the tension spring. Adjust accordingly based on your yarn's thickness. Refer to the manual to adjust the tension assembly spring. To check the tension dial setting, test it by pulling the yarn. Pull the yarn downwards. When the yarn retracts naturally, 20 to 30 centimeters is ideal. Next, adjusting the stitch dial. Align the number on the stitch dial with a V-shaped notch. The larger the number, the tighter the stitch. Next, let's adjust the tension. Pull down the yarn and release. When the yarn retracts, the tension spring should stay 1020 centimeters from the assembly. But for plain or special patterns, always test need to confirm the tension. For other steps, follow the manual.